Today we'll continue our discussion with anti-epileptic drugs. Yesterday I told you about phenobarbital. Now today we'll start off with carbamazepine. Carbamazepine. Now you learn about carbamazepine in a little more detail when we discuss on this thing. क्या बोलते हैं जब एंटीसाइकोटिक्स पढ़ते हैं जब इसमें और ज़्यादा डिटेल में जाएंगे बट we will cover a little bit of carbamazepine in this as well. It will fall under a class called immunostilbenes. ठीक है, if you ever find carbamazepine under immunostilbenes, sometimes you can even find them as directly कोई और antipsychotic drugs used in anti-epileptics बल्कि भी use find कर सकते हैं आप या immunostilbenes में भी find कर सकते हैं. The class is called immunostilbenes. Okay. Now, carbamazepine is abbreviated as CBZ. In a lot of hospitals and in a lot of healthcare centers, you will generally find that, especially in healthcare centers which are dealing with psychotic patients. ठीक है, for example, अगर आप इरागड्डा मेंटल हॉस्पिटल गए या कोई और साइकोटिक सेंटर गए जहाँ पर साइकोटिक काउंसलिंग हो रही या साइकेट्रिक काउंसलिंग हो रही या any of that sort, you will see that the drugs that are being given to them, antipsychotics especially, they will be abbreviated. Most of them will not be written as their complete name because बहुत सारे रहते हैं and their names can be complicated. They will be abbreviated. Carbamazepine is abbreviated as CVZ. Okay. Now this is a tricyclic antidepressant, very similar to tricyclic compound, just like imipramine. I'll discuss what are imipramine and what are tricyclic compounds when we discuss antidepressants and antipsychotics. But for now, just remember that this is also a sodium channel blocker. One second. Okay. Specifically, it will block the sodium channel in your neuron, and as a result, the neuron itself, the neuronal membrane will get stabilized because, yeah, upper epilepsy, mein you are getting multiple stimuli. If you are blocking sodium channel, essentially you're blocking it in the inactivated stage. You'll be able to stabilize the neuron, or specifically, you'll be able to stabilize the impulse that is being transmitted. No more impulses will be transmitted for a short period of time, letting that neuron rest a little bit. Okay. Now, this is also found useful in patients who have mood disorders, especially carbamazepine can be used in bipolar disorder. There are a few patients who will, bipolar disorder is essentially a psychiatric condition in which the patient will alternate it between mania and depression. Okay, they'll go into opposite spectrums again and again. There'll be phases where they have months together of depression and maybe even weeks, and they will have phases where they are completely in mania. So those disorders are bipolar. तो उसमें भी आप ये यूज कर सकते हैं कार्बापेनेम. Normally this is used in grand mal seizures. It is used in partial seizures, especially टेम्पोरल लोब एपिलेप्सी अगर हो रही पेशेंट्स को, टेम्पोरल लोब के न्यूरॉन्स अगर मिसफायर हो रहे तो जब बहुत अच्छा काम करता है ये. एंड ट्राइजेमाइनल न्यूरालजिया में दे सकते हैं ये. The patient is having severe pain in the form of trigeminal neuralgia. You can give this. Glossopharyngeal neuralgia में भी दे सकते हैं. What is the glossopharyngeal nerve? स्पाइनल नर्व है या सर्वाइकल नर्व है? सॉरी, क्रेनियल, नॉट सर्वाइकल. स्पाइनल है या क्रेनियल है?
Cranial nerve.
ओके, विच नंबर? अच्छा, आप लोगों को लास्ट ईयर कोई निमोनिक दिए थे क्या ये क्रेनियल नर्व्स याद रखने के लिए? जनरली इट विल बी मेंशन्ड इन योर टेक्स्ट बुक. यू कैन यूज दैट टू रिमेंबर इट. There are 12 nerves, no? If you do have one, to tell me tomorrow. Okay. It is kind of important that you remember them. Anyway, so you can use them in glossopharyngeal. You can use CBZ in glossopharyngeal as well as trigeminal neuralgia. Glossopharyngeal is the ninth cranial nerve, by the way. Uh, it has mild antidiuretic effect. That is one disadvantage with this. Mild antidiuretic effect. What is diuresis? Can anyone tell me what is diuresis? What do you understand by the term? It has something to do with urine formation. No, never heard the term. Acha, so you have two homeworks. Bola Lady Lakshmi, you have an idea?
Increase the urine production. Its
Mm,
frequency is more.
mm, mm. So increase in the production and frequency of micturition essentially refers to diuresis. Okay, micturition is the process of urination. Whenever you have increased production of urine and increased frequency of urine, specifically increased production of urine, it is called diuresis. So this drug has a mild antidiuretic effect. Now, why did I say uh, it is a disadvantage? Because patients who have hypertension, उनके अंदर whenever there is a drug that is being given and that drug displays antidiuretic effect, think of it this way: your urine is collecting all the waste product and it is throwing away it in the throwing all that waste product in the form of a liquid. Now, because of an antidiuretic drug or because of any antidiuretic hormone, let's suppose ADH, what will happen is that water will start being retained, and that water does not get retained as is. More often than not, you will have sodium being retained. So, what will happen in your body if sodium and water increases to your blood pressure? Let's suppose the amount of sodium and water in your body is increasing because of antidiuretic effect inside your body. What will happen to the blood pressure? Increases or decreases? Let me put it this way: how is blood volume related to blood pressure, directly or inversely?
Directly.
Directly, exactly. So यहाँ पर क्या होता, whenever you have an antidiuretic effect such as this drug, blood volume will start increasing. Now your body is retaining more amount of water, obviously that water has to go somewhere. It will start entering, some amount of it will start entering your plasma, and as a result your blood pressure will increase. Also, because the sodium ions are coming in, it will increase the ion concentration inside your blood as well. That also triggers an increase in blood pressure. Anyway, so there is that mild antidiuretic effect with carbamazepine. Absorption of this drug is slightly slow and it is erratic. It is not a constant flow of absorption that occurs with carbamazepine. And T half generally is around 10 to 30 hours. Half life of the drug is 10 to 30 hours. But there is a catch. If you repeatedly administer carbamazepine, let's suppose you're giving the drug to the patient again and again for weeks together, T half of the drug will start decreasing. T half will become 15 hours. This is because of autoinduction. Can anyone tell me what is autoinduction? So पहले we came across a drug that was autoinducer. What is autoinduction? Acha, what is drug induction before autoinduction? What is drug induction? We studied this in the first chapter. Okay. Autoinduction essentially refers to a phenomenon in which the metabolite of the drug metabolizes or increases the metabolism of the previous drug or the original drug. So for example, carbamazepine को मैं C के वैसा represent कर रहा हूँ. Example, ठीक है? This drug performs its function and it gets metabolized. ठीक है? Let us suppose it is getting metabolized in your liver, and ठीक है, this gets metabolized to some other product called A. All right, this metabolite called A will enhance the metabolism of carbamazepine even more. A has an effect on the rate of metabolism of carbamazepine. Essentially, what is happening is a byproduct that is formed because of the main drug is inducing its own metabolism and increasing the rate of elimination. Essentially, that is autoinduction. it is increasing the rate of metabolism. The metabolite of the primary drug is increasing the what do you call metabolism of the primary drug. ठीक है, ये जो metabolite है जो बना carbamazepine, this is the drug that you are giving for, let's suppose, for treating epilepsy, trigeminal neuralgia या grand mal seizure, whatever the patient has. You are giving a certain amount of drug to the patient. Over time, what happens is the metabolite that starts getting accumulated inside your body will increase the rate of metabolism. The metabolite will increase the rate of metabolism of CBZ. Okay? Because of which what will happen is CBZ will start getting converted into A at a much more faster pace. As a result, what will happen is your half-life will decrease. That is why the T half goes from almost 10 to 30 hours to 15 hours, and it will keep decreasing. If you keep on giving more and more repeated administration of CBZ, will cause auto-induction. I hope you understood the concept. Remember this, what is auto-induction? It's a very important concept. ये समझ में आया? Do you want me to repeat again? See, someday
Sir,
again I
one
will repeat करना. समझ में आया?
one समझा सर,
आपकी आवाज टूट रही बेटा.
नहीं समझ में आया सर.
नहीं समझ में आया. अच्छा. अच्छा, think of it this way. Let us suppose you summer है ना, तो आप लोग ice जमाए होंगे ना. At some point or the other, you must have made ice in your home, correct? Or at least at some point in your life, you might have made ice. So let us suppose you have ice inside the freezer. You take it out, you put it in a bowl. Okay? Let us suppose you are putting cubes of ice inside a bowl. Let us suppose these are ice cubes. Now, over time, what will happen to these ice cubes if I keep them outside?
मेल्ट हो जाते हैं.
Melt होते हैं, correct. Now, will all of the ice cubes melt at the same time, or will you see that some ice cubes are melting faster than the others?
थोड़े जल्दी मेल्ट होते हैं.
ठीक है. Let us suppose the ice cubes on the top are melting faster than the ice cubes in the bottom. So let's suppose this is row 1, row 2, and row 3 of the ice cubes. Just imagine you are putting it in a bowl and there are 3 rows of ice cubes created. The topmost row is row 1, directly under that is row 2 of ice cubes, and under that is row 3. Now, as this ice cube is becoming water, let us suppose I represent that water in a different color. In that same bowl, let us suppose this is the bowl, and those ice cubes are getting smaller now. So once again, let me use the same color here. Okay, let us suppose the ice cubes of the first row became that small, and अब the second row के ice cubes are the same size. Let us suppose somewhat the same size. Okay. Now, when the ice cubes on the top melt, they will obviously make water. Let us suppose I represent the water in green. What will be the effect of water on the rest of the ice cubes? Water बन रहा, so it will obviously go down, okay, because of gravity. What will be the effect of that water on the ice cubes of these 2 rows?
इसको भी मेल्ट करना
They will
पड़ेगा.
also melt, sir.
Yes, they will also start melting. The same principle applies in autoinduction. What happens is your primary drug that you are giving, let us suppose carbamazepine is the primary drug. You don't have to take carbamazepine. Imagine just you're taking some A product, some drug. Okay? This drug, once it enters into your body, let us suppose I am giving that drug to Alan for whatever reason. Let's suppose that fellow has cold and I'm giving him, God forbid, but let's suppose I'm giving him a drug called A. Okay? That drug goes inside the body, gets absorbed, gets metabolized, gets distributed, so on and so forth, and ultimately it will get metabolized and eliminated. Okay? ADME होता उसका. When it is getting metabolized, let us suppose it is getting metabolized in the liver. This holds true for any other metabolic organ as well. Liver में ही जरूरी नहीं है कहीं भी. And if I know that the drug A is an auto-inducer, इसका मतलब ये रहता, whenever this drug gets metabolized into a different product, let us suppose it is getting metabolized into B. अब metabolism का मतलब बायोट्रांसफॉर्मेशन है, एक फॉर्म से दूसरे फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट हो रहा ड्रग. तो A is getting converted into a metabolite which is B. or it might be converted into multiple metabolites as well. जरूरी नहीं एक ही बनना, A plus B plus C plus D भी बन रहा समझो. Suppose it is being P. 3 different metabolites are being made. Now, autoinduction is a phenomenon in which one of these metabolites or all of these metabolites is influencing the process of metabolism of A. Essentially, it is positively influencing the rate of metabolism of A, because of which what happens is, अब समझो initially concentration A का 100 mg था, example, it is getting metabolized at a rate of 1 mg per minute. ठीक है, example, let's suppose it is getting metabolized at a rate of 1 mg per minute. ठीक है, तो जो drug है, after 5 minutes there should be about 5 mg of drug here, right? 5 mg of metabolite should be present. Initially the rate of metabolism is, let me 1 second, initially the rate of metabolism is 1 mg per minute. ठीक है, तो 5 minutes के बाद 5 mg बना, that metabolite which was formed. ठीक है, A से let's suppose B is being made. This 5 mg that starts getting accumulated will essentially increase this rate. As a result, what will happen is over time this rate might change to 2 mg or it might change to 3 mg per minute. तो T half को क्या होता? If that rate is being changed, what will happen to the half life of the drug?
कम हो जाता.
कम हो जाता. अभी समझ में आया? What is auto induction?
Yes sir.
What about the rest of you? समझ में आया what is auto induction?
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please remember this concept. This is a very basic and important concept of your pharmacology. You can get this question as a 2 mark as well. See, these questions are generally not expected, and these questions are more of like a general sense of pharmacology. मतलब these are basics that you will remember. So these are literally giveaway questions. आपको वो basics अगर याद नहीं रहे, तो you are losing those marks simply. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल if anatomy physiology आपके, let's suppose in your anatomy physiology exam in last year you did not write the exam, but let's suppose normally they will ask you a lot about skeletal system, what is the structure of the bone, draw the structure of the bone, so on and so forth. Let us suppose you get a random question, 2 mark question, write the number of bones present in your body. Now that is something that might not have been mentioned in your textbook, or even if it is mentioned in your textbook, you overlooked it because it is something that you know you don't really care about. मतलब okay है उतने and आपको याद रहता वो, it is something very basic. But if you forget something such base which is so basic, you know you end up with a chance where you might lose it. आप जो examiner है, they are literally giving you away the marks. ठीक है, that kind of question are literally no brainer, बहुत easily answer कर सकना. Auto induction is something like that. You should be able to answer it any time. It is like what is the function of paracetamol, उतना simple है वो. But if you don't remember that concept, ऐसा होता हो, ठीक है, you might lose marks that you can gain very easily. Right, so keep that in mind. And by the way, ये year exams हो सकते हैं, मे बी आपको ऑनलाइन एग्जाम्स होंगे, बट हो सकते हैं एग्जाम्स. सो आप लोग खुश मत हो कि एग्जाम्स होंगे ही नहीं. आप हम लोग 4th ईयर तक पहुंच जाएंगे, 4th ईयर में देखेंगे एग्जाम्स होते नहीं होते, जब भी ऐसे निकाल लेंगे. क्या बोलते हैं, फर्स्ट बैच ऑफ नर्सिंग विदाउट राइटिंग एनी एग्जाम्स वी पास्ड. ऐसा नहीं होता, ठीक है, होपफुली वैसा नहीं होता. एनीवे, नाउ कमिंग बैक टू carbamazepine. Yeah, someone was telling something. Okay. Anyway, coming back to carbamazepine, as I was telling you, this drug causes autoinduction. The metabolite, repeated administration of the drug causes autoinduction. Also, the adverse effects of the drug include vertigo, ataxia. The patient will not be able to walk properly. Diplopia occurs. Diplopia is double vision. ठीक है, yesterday I also told you about another special this thing adverse effect that you did not come across till now, was nystagmus for phenytoin, wherein the patient's eyeballs will have repetitive motion either vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. Diplopia is double vision. The patient might also have blurred vision, and it is advisable, you have to tell the patient that they should not drive when they are on carbamazepine or any other antipsychotic for that matter. Okay? Because it will cause drowsiness and blurred vision, so it is very dangerous to drive altogether. Now we have another drug called ethosuximide. After that, Now you don't have a lot of detail in the mechanism of action. This drug specifically works in thalamic neurons. Ever heard of the thalamus? What is the thalamus? कौन की रहता है ना उन्हों? Who is your thalamus?
Sir, it's a parts of brain.
Okay, can you be a little more specific? It's a part of brain. Yes. What does it do?
forebrain के part of forebrain.
Your
Sir,
voice
so
is choppy.
It's the
like it's not
small
the
structure within the brain, sir.
I'm not able to hear you. Your voices are very choppy.
Between cerebral cortex and midbrain.
It's present between cerebral cortex and midbrain. It's a relay station. Exactly. What is it relaying? And किधर से किधर relay कर रहा?
Sensory signals from the lower part.
From the lower part. Lower part of what?
Brain, motor signals.
So essentially, motor signals को
No, say sensory signals.
क्या तो ये लोअर पार्ट बोल रहे, कौन सा लोअर पार्ट नहीं बोल रहे, फिर उसको मोटर बना दे रहे. अच्छा ठीक है, फाइंड आउट एंड टेल मी एग्जैक्टली व्हाट थैलेमस इज, वेयर इट इज एग्जैक्टली लोकेटेड एंड व्हाट इज इट्स फंक्शन, ऑल ऑफ इट्स फंक्शन. ठीक है, कल बोलो. I'll ask you tomorrow. All right, so thalamus में they are obviously thalamic neurons. ठीक है, those thalamic neurons, they sometimes when epilepsy occurs, those thalamic neurons will get affected. Specifically उन लोगों को T currents बोलते हैं. ठीक है, thalamus की वजह से T, and they are called currents. T currents बोलते हैं उन लोगों को. These T currents are erratic during absence seizures, or to put it in another way, T currents are responsible for absence seizures. You already know what absence seizures are. So T currents might cause absence seizures. In that scenario, ethosuximide will be very helpful because this fellow will reduce low threshold calcium currents. Okay, the calcium currents that are T currents that are formed in your thalamic neurons, essentially what will happen is, you already know when I discussed with you about acetylcholine, मैं आप लोगों को बोला था how presynaptic neuron में at the axon terminal, whenever whenever a stimulus comes to your axon terminal, whenever that stimulus is spreading towards your neurotransmitters or the vesicles that contain neurotransmitters, those vesicles will be able to exocytose because of the influx of calcium. Okay, calcium has to come in for that exocytosis to occur. यहाँ पर what happens is those calcium currents are inhibited by ethosuximide. As a result, just remember it this way: it will reduce low threshold calcium currents. Okay. As a result, what happens is T currents will not be formed. If T currents are not formed, the patient will not have absence seizures anymore. Okay. So the mechanism of action of this drug is that it reduces low threshold calcium currents. लोगों को T currents भी बोलते हैं. ठीक है, in your thalamic neurons, which are responsible for absence seizures. Now, this will obviously antagonize the T cell calcium channel, जो आपके thalamic neuron का calcium channel है, उसको antagonize करता है, because of which the neuron will get stabilized, and as a result, it will not fire again and again. Absorption is complete upon oral administration. Normally, ethosuximide के साथ बहुत सारे adverse effects आते हैं, especially when you start the dose, when you start the drug at a normal dose. ठीक है, the patient might have nausea, vomiting, epigastric pain, anorexia, gastric irritation, a lot of gastric problems, and all of these can be avoided if you start the drug at a low dose and you gradually increase the dose. If you directly give a therapeutic dose to the patient, or a high dose rather than therapeutic dose, you will always give a therapeutic dose. Let us suppose you give a very high dose, even in the therapeutic range, the patient will directly start having gastric distress, gastric irritation, anorexia, all of that. So if you start with a lower dose and you start increasing it eventually, you can avoid all of that. and generally it will also cause drowsiness, fatigue, lethargy, and euphoria. What is euphoria? Ever heard of the term euphoria? Acha, have you all ever heard about pot? Let me put maybe a little more specific. Have you ever heard of cannabis? तुम लोग कभी नहीं सुने रे cannabis के बारे में? इतने शरीफ बच्चे हैं. Aesthetic beauty, euphoria maybe. It does not exactly have to do with beauty. It is a state of mind. Have you all never heard about pot or ganja? Essentially, that is pot. Cannabis,
SR hookah.
hookah. Now, hookah is only a way through which you are administering the drug. It need not be cannabis as such. You can put tobacco inside it and smoke as well. Weed, exactly. Finally, someone knows what is weed. So when someone smokes weed, I'm not advocating to smoke it to you, but when someone smokes weed or any other psychostimulant drug, the state of mind that they achieve, okay, that is euphoria. All right, the feeling of extreme happiness. Okay, they will be in a trance-like state. They might not lose consciousness altogether. Okay, their consciousness might not be affected altogether, but they'll be in a very, very, how should I put it, hallucinations, not necessarily, sometimes but not necessarily. हर बार hallucinate करने की जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है, hallucinations generally happen with very, very strong strains of weed, or if the patient is taking something like LSD. ठीक है, एसिड अगर ले रहे हैं या फिर ऐसा ले रहे हैं तो hallucinations होते हैं. You will start hearing what do you call, you will start seeing sounds. Yeah, I told it correctly. You start seeing sounds when you start taking acid and all. Anyway, so euphoria is a feeling of extreme happiness when you take certain drugs. Okay, certain antipsychotic drugs will do the same. Okay, antipsychotic drugs, some analgesics will also do the same. Hold on, we'll finish this class. I'll send you another link. Join that link. I haven't taken the attendance, so make sure you join it. 1 second.